Chair recognizes the gentleman from Mason for discussion of the matter.
I'd like to speak on the bill, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, sir.
First, I rise to just thank the gentleman from Pendleton 78 for bringing this legislation. Many of you know that I have my wastewater license, but I also carry a drinking water license and worked in a water treatment facility. And people ask me, like, why do you work in wastewater? And I said, I prefer it, and it may be because I drank so much fluorinated water as a child. But I'll move on from that. Fluoride in water is an unfunded state mandate enforced medication. We're one of 13 states that still mandates fluoride in our water. I'm not going to get up and read a bunch of facts that I received in my email or Googled, because if you Google fluoride in water, you'll find facts and professionals on both sides of the spectrum that will tell you contradicting information. Today, this bill is not to take the fluoride out of the bill. I don't believe for a moment that's what the gentleman from Pendleton 78 is here to do. This bill is simply to give local control to local water districts. I worked in a water district. I changed out the fluoride containers that came in a gas form in large cylinders.
Thank you.
When we set those cylinders on, we were forced, for safety and OSHA reasons, to wear protective gear. We had to wear a full face mask, wear a large vest and a different type of material, almost a fireproof, if you will, or fire retardant type of vest, while we changed that out, because it says it literally comes in a container with the crossbones on it. I'm talking Pirates of the Caribbean type thing, okay? It's dangerous stuff. It sits on metal grating, and about every 6 months we have to change out that metal grating because it ate through the metal grating. And I'm not talking because I messed up and spilled a bunch. I'm talking about the little bit that seeps every time that you change out that container. I've worked with it personally, so I'm not going to give you those facts that you can find on Google. I'm telling you from a personal stance, it's dangerous stuff. I don't allow my children to drink tap water. Their teeth's fine. Listen, you talk to a dentist. If you take fluoride, I'm not saying fluoride's not good for your teeth. If you can swirl that around and put it on the surfaces of your teeth, it's beneficial for you. How many of you take a drink of water and swish it around in your mouth for 30 seconds? None of us. We swallow it. It's not doing you a bit of good for your teeth. We were talking about where we have all these facts about how much better it is for the state and our dental rates. We're 48th in the nation. It's not working. We need to do something else. But this is a step in the right direction, and thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Really? Really? We're applauding that? We're cheering that? We're cheering on tooth decay. We're cheering on lack of fluoridation. We're cheering on bad dental health. We're cheering on removal of a substance because some guy once handled it and, hey, it had toxic label on the side because it was in volumes much larger than what we're actually drinking in our drinking water. Yeah, we're doing that apparently, huh? Honestly, I've been here almost 50 years. It'll be 50 years in September. I'm not a native born, but I've been here for most of my life. And I really, really want Kentucky to succeed. I treasure my education. I grew up in Oldham County where the Speaker of the House, the last man you see on that video, is a representative, where Lindsey Tenchner, another terrible senator, grew up. In fact, we're not that far apart in Oldham County. And I look at the amount of pandering and stupidity that I see, and I can't fathom how people get this way. We reject science, we reject reason, we reject expert opinions because we know better for some reason. And this William Lawrence here is a perfect example. He handled water. Okay, and let me put this up front. From what I can tell, Representative Lawrence has no experience in healthcare. He's not a dentist, not a dental professional, not a dental hygienist. He's not a doctor. He's not a scientist. He's not a toxicologist. He's a guy who owns properties from his I can tell from his website. And from his testimony here, he used to work with water. And he prefers sewers. That's all we know, okay? But he's talking about this vat of fluoride and how horrific it was. Okay, now let's get this out of the way right now. Fluoride is a toxic substance in massive volumes. There's a reason why we brush our teeth. We don't just spray it down our mouth, but there is a therapeutic benefit to ingesting small, very small fractional amounts of fluoride in improving our dental health. Not in dispute, despite what our representatives keep saying. Studies say this and studies say that. Doesn't matter. You can probably find a study that will tell you that the earth is flat. That would convince somebody out there and probably find enough data. But that doesn't make it reputable science. Science is practiced by data, studies, repeatability, falsifiability, all these concepts in science where we look for, through experimentation and observation, to see what happens. And so we have to understand those studies. We also have to understand what they don't tell us, do tell us. And what's been cited in some of the testimony is a study that is about fluoride amounts that are, I think, over double what is the allowable amount in Kentucky's water. It can cause problems. But that study also focused on things that were above double the amount, so could have been far higher, which we do know that the more fluoride you ingest, the more at danger you are. Adage in toxicology, the dose makes the poison. Okay, this is apparently ancient wisdom. And if you think about it this way, if you have a headache, you take 2 aspirin, 2 Tylenol, your headache goes away. You take 22 aspirin, 22 Tylenol, you might go away. The dose makes the poison, and that's the case here. The fluoride is in these big vats that are, yes, indeed, corrosive. Yes, indeed, have a skull and crossbones on the side. You take that vat, you don't dump it into this. You dump it into hundreds of thousands of gallons of water to the point where the standard is 0.7 parts per million. So think about that. Make a grid of 1,000,000 squares, shade in 0.7 of 1. That's the amount of fluoride in your water, and usually a little less. I think it's 0.6 in Louisville. So it is not a risky amount that's in your water. Furthermore, we've seen some testimony from individuals in Frankfurt that talk about, we don't want this. We want clean water. Well, the fact is that some sources of water already have fluoride in them, and indeed in too large amounts. So that's a natural source. Would you consider that clean water? Would you want that excess removed? I think you would. So it's not like we're saying, hey, any amount of fluoride is good. We're saying this amount is good. That's what we want in our water as an additive to help improve dental health. So I just really am tired of this stupidity. And then we get to the end here where this wonderful logic of we've got terrible dental health rates in Kentucky, so therefore fluoride must not be working. It's kind of like saying we've got a terrible hunger program in Kentucky, so Dare to Care must not be working. You don't take away something that is an additive benefit because you're not seeing something go away. Dental health is not just a factor of fluoride. It's a factor of nutrition. It's a factor of brushing habits. It's a factor of dental hygiene. It's a factor of going to the dentist. It's a factor of having x-rays. It's a factor of, what happened to you at birth. There's all sorts of stuff, genetics, that play into dental health that fluoride helps. It doesn't cure. So to have this idiot get up there and say, oh, apparently it's not working, how stupid do you have to be? And then to applaud that. I just do not understand what is wrong with Kentucky's legislature. It is no wonder we have such a brain drain, because all of our brightest and best have to deal with this kind of idiocy every day. And this is not rocket science. This is basic scientific stuff. If you'd have told me, 20 years ago that we were debating the benefits of fluoride, but here we are. This is 50-year-old John Birch Society crap that now is become anew, that somehow we're poisoning our youth and poisoning and we're doing stuff without consent. No, we're helping the public in a non-intrusive way, in a way that does not harm people, but we want to make people think they are. And I'm appalled by it. I'm sickened by it. I'm tired of being represented by this either two types of people. There's people that are like David Osborne, where they condone the stupidity because it helps them get through what they want to get through. And then there's people who are just genuinely not bright or purposefully ignorant, like Representative Lawrence here, who embrace fear and embrace a lack of knowledge because I don't know why. Either they don't know any better or they think they do. So I'm just tired of it, and I don't know what we do about it except to find a way to elect better people and make people realize that the people they are electing are not helping them in any way. So those are my thoughts.